Good morning members. Now in this particular video I am going to start with the MCQs, which are the recent exam MCQs, and each of the video I'll try to cover around at least 40 to 50 MCQs in one video. So this will be a quick revision video. You can attend these videos at your home or by speeding up during your class and all. Or you're in cars and all, or driving time, or any time which is not that much fruitful for your study. So at that time just go through these videos, because these videos will contain all the recent exams MCQs which are shared by all the members with me during the sessions, which we will not able to discuss. Some of the points or topics might be discussed during the discussions, but yes, still if some of the points are new, then you can go through these videos for those type of points, right? So now, without wasting any time, let's start the discussion. The first question is, the bank cannot initiate action against a defaulter unless it records the debt as NPA, not more than 5 lakh and 40% default amount. The amount is less than 1 crore and more than 2 years default in payment. This is not correct. The first is correct answer, that is, it records the debt as NPA, then only against FSC it can go. Mechanism of action to get results is called a, not business model, it is a strategy, not a plan, not a policy. It is a strategy to mechanism of actions into results. Intrinsic value of put option, when it is at the money, both put option and call options, if it is at the money, the value of intrinsic value is always 0. The net asset value not suitable for the method, that is net asset value is not suitable for insurance companies. It is suitable for investment companies, because whatever the investment they have made, that is their net assets. Property investment, obviously if you are property investment companies, that is best method, or mining companies, the assets are majority assets, right? But for insurance company, the net asset method is not a best method. Next it is saying ABC Limited has paid a dividend of 4 this year and has grown at the rate of 3 years as at 13%, 10% and 7%. Stable growth rate of 4% assumed by the valuer. Find the cost of capital of the company if the value of the share is 70 rupees, right? So now in this particular case, how this problem can be solved, right? So just pay complete attention. So let's concentrate on the solving of this. So this question basically says that the year 0 dividend is 4 rupees, and then growth for the next 3 years is 13, 10 and 7, right? So year 0 dividend is 4 rupees. So this is year, I'm writing 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, right? Here the cash flow is 4 rupees. Here it is growing at the rate of 13%, so is equal to this multiplied by 1.13, right? In the next year it is equal to 10% into 1.10. Then in the next year it is 7%, is equal to this into 1.07, right? In the next year it will be 4% continuously, is equal to this into 1.04, right? Now cash flows we are having, right? This was correct, 10, 7, and then stable growth rate is 4. The current price of the share is 40. Now the problem in this situation is, if somehow we will be having the cost of capital, right, that is the present value, at the rate of some factor that is missing in the question. Now how can we do solve this question? The one straightforward way is, you can write here first of all the terminal value, because the 4% growth rate is still perpetuity, right? And then here it will be total value or total cash flow, then present value at the rate of some factor, right? At the rate of जो भी factor आपके पास given हो, right? A problem here है that factor is not available. So then what can we do, right? So in this situation, now you have to understand that very well, right? Let's suppose I assume a factor of 15% is the rate, right? I have written here 15, or even you can take 5% also, but I am taking 15%, right? Now if I calculate the value of this share at 15%, then what will be the value, right? Let's check. So here first of all is equal to terminal value will be equal to this divided by 0.15 minus 0.04. 50.29. What will be the total cash flow? Is equal to your zero cash flow is of no use plus this. So this will be your cash flows, and present value is equal to this divided by 1 plus this. Now please put a F4 on this. What do F4 do? Basically that will stabilize this particular place or this particular column, right? Then bracket close, raised to power this one. If you simply drag and drop till here, then how much is equal to sum. How much is the value of the share that you get? Now one question that will be striking throughout your mind, that sir, from where you have got this 15 rupees that was given, not given in the in this particular question, right? So that is where the function goal seek is used, right? So in this particular situation, if the discount rate will be 15%, right? So here also I have to write the formula, the combination should be given. So is equal to this, because otherwise the formula will not give you the correct answer. This divided by minus 0.04, that is the constant growth. You get the same formula, but you have to give the circular reference to apply the goal seek. So now let's understand, if the discount rate will be 15% or cost of equity will be 15%, then the value of share is 44. But we have been given that the value of the share is 70 rupees. Then what should be the discount rate that can give us the answer over here as 70 rupees, right? So in that situation, the goal seek is going to be used. In Excel, goal seek will be available in data, right? What if analysis and then goal seek. In your open office, you can directly get the goal seek under tools, right? The function will work in the same manner. Now goal seek basically asks you three values. Which value you want to set? You want to set this in this column. What value? We want this value to be 70. By changing which cell? By changing this particular cell, right? So if I press OK, I will get the answer as approximately 11%. To be very specific or precise answer, the answer is 10.98, or you can go with 11% also. If you have not got it, then just go through the video and then you can check it out. For the last time, I am showing this calculation again. Right? So these are the major calculations with respect to this. So now let's move ahead with the theoretical questions. 11% is the correct answer. Then buying a call at high strike price and sell at low strike price, then it is a bear with call strategy. Sir, is there any shortcut method with which we can remember this? Because obviously we have listened or we have gone through your video of bear and bull. We have tried to understand that. Sometimes वो हमें समझ भी आ जाता है, कई बार नहीं भी आता है. पर क्या कोई इसका शॉर्टकट तरीका बता सकते हैं कि हाँ, right? Let me give you a brief idea about at least bear and bull with call and put, right? Always remember, when a person buys a call option, right? When he expects the share market or share prices to go up, that means going up is called bullish, going down is called bearish, right? So when he is expecting that market will go up, he will try to purchase call at the lowest rate. क्यों? क्योंकि उसे पता है कि जितना ऊपर जाएगा, अगर मैंने कम रेट पर किसी एसेट को खरीदने का अधिकार ले रखा है, मुझे उतना ही फायदा होगा. दैट मींस इन केस ऑफ बुलिश मार्केट, the calls are always purchased at lower rate. The calls are always purchased at lower rate. So here and then, sir, after that what we can do? All other methods are going to be used. In this case will be like the journal entries. जर्नल एंट्रीज में हम क्या करते थे बचपन में, हमें ये पता चल जाए कि हाँ ये डेबिट होना है तो दूसरा हम खुद ही क्रेडिट कर देते थे, राइट? सो ऑब्वियसली if you can understand that if the market is going to be bullish, then calls are bought at lower exercise price, right? And put are bought at higher exercise price, right? Vice versa, you can see vice versa here. If the higher price, if a call is bought at a high price, then it should not be bullish, it should be opposite to that, bearish, right? In case of put, if the same strategy is followed with put options, the market will be bullish. तो एक पढ़ के बाकी चार आपने उससे कॉल के ऑपोजिट पुट बन जाएगा, राइट? एंड इफ हाई जाने के केस में कॉल ऑप्शन का प्राइस हमने लोअर लेना है, तो अगर हायर ले रहे हैं तो उस टाइम पे व्हाट वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग द मार्केट टू गो डाउन, दैट इज द बियर विद कॉल स्ट्रेटेजी. Then firms deal with financial strategy by which of the following? Now out of these four options, purchase more asset, replicate, repurchase securities, taking more loans, this is not an option. So in that situation, what is odd out of the three? That is this particular portion, right? So this can be considered as the last option left with us to answer, right? So then next part over here is, let's move ahead. Relative to an otherwise similar option free bond, a putable bond will trade at a higher price. Now there are two other options or terms are there. What is putable, then what is callable, right? Let's try to understand the difference. Always remember, when a extra benefit is there to the investor, he will be ready to pay extra funds. Whenever there will be any extra benefit to the company and investor is not having any benefit, then the prices or investor will be ready to pay lower amounts, right? Callability is a concept from company's point of view. The company is having a power, as and when they want, they can call their bonds back, right? So in this situation, the investor will feel cheated, so he will not be ready to pay that much amount, right? Where putability or put option is basically a kind of concept from the buyer of securities perspective. So in that situation, if he is having some extra right, then whenever he wish to, he can give this bond to you and he can get his money back. Now this right is with the investor. So if investor is getting some extra right, then obviously he will be ready to pay extra amount. That is why putable bonds will always trade at a higher price and callable bonds are always traded at a lower price. Convertible bonds are always give again extra benefit to the investor, so that will also be at higher price. The option is written as lower price. Coupon floor bond will trade at a lower price. This will also coupon floor means the bond is having a floating rate of interest, that the rate of interest will vary, but minimum floor means floor is always on the obviously on the lower side. So minimum this much rate of interest you will otherwise get. ये आपको मिलेगा ही मिलेगा. So in that situation again investor is having some extra benefit that at least even if the floating bond is there, but minimum this much interest I'll get. So he will be ready to pay more amount. Which of the following is a financial asset? Now please remember this, income tax, advance for good, stock. No, deferred tax asset is the financial asset. The video we have also shared, you can go through that video also. Which of the following is a financial asset? Again there are three other assets I have written, but this is deferred tax asset. Fair value of liabilities acquired in a business combination. Fair value of liabilities acquired in a business combination measured at the not nominal value, not liquidation value, not present value of cash flows. The market value of identical liabilities. The best way to value them is the market value of identical liabilities. The bonds with least volatility. The bonds with least volatility is 5 years coupon rate of 15%. Sir, how you got this answer? Now I'm not going to solve this, but I give you the method of solving. Let's suppose you get this kind of question in your exam. Just do one thing. Take a base example. Assume there is a bond of 100 rupees or 1000 rupees and 16% is the discount rate. Or YTM. YTM and price of the bond, just assume. Then calculate the value of the bond, duration and volatility, right? By assuming two figures and apply those same figures on the options. At least you will get the answer. The answer is yes, right? So whichever the bond will be having lowest duration or volatility, you can answer this. But yes, for the sake of remembering, if you want, then the highest coupon rate will be having the least volatility. The least coupon rate, that is 0%, will be having the highest volatility, right? Now bond with the highest volatility will be the 0% coupon rate. assets permitted in India for tax amortization benefit is registered trademarks, technology at initial state, customer relations, supplier relations. Now registered trademarks for this, these assets are allowed for tax amortization benefit also. Market value of distressed company, debt is greater than asset, its impact, obviously if the debt is greater than the equity, then the equity will be negative equity. No impact on equity is the wrong answer. Positive equity is the wrong answer. Negative equity is the correct answer. An investment pays 300 annual for 5 years with the first payment accruing today. The present value of the investment is discounted at 4% annual rate is approximately. Now most of the members do answer this question incorrectly. This is the most important exam question. So if you see in this, how the timeline will look like. How many years? 5 years, right? So this is year 1, this is year 2, this is year 3, this is year 4, this is year 5. But if every year the investment is going to be made on the first day of the year, then first investment will be here, second here, third here, fourth here, fifth here. So that is why I always say in the classes also, I'll always try to make a timeline diagram, right? So this will be discounted for how many years? 0 years. So this will be 300 itself. This will be discounted for 1 year, this will be discounted for 2 years, this will be discounted for 3 years, this will be discounted for 4 years, right? So always remember, then if you discount them, you will get the answer as 1389. That is the final correct answer. If you discount it for 300 as first year and then keep on going, then the answer come, or the present value that will be there will be 1336. That will be incorrect. So remember, make a timeline diagram. If the information is there that the amount is payable at the beginning of such years, beginning is always starting of the year. The next is market risk is a systematic and undiversifiable. It cannot be diversified. Systematic risk also defines the same. Income from pension is shown under which head of income? The answer is salary. Income from pension is under the head salary. MWM, multi-period excess earning model, is used for valuation of intangible assets, not for stocks, not for tangible assets having indefinite life, not for tangible assets having definite life. If the expected return is 12% and ROI given by the company is 15% for past 5 years and 10% for next 5 years, optimum dividend policy, the dividend payout ratio will be. Now we have discussed in the very first of the theory class that optimum dividend payout ratio as per Walter's model. So Walter says that he tries to read the expected rate of return by the investor and actual return by the company, R and K, right? So it believes that even the company is earning for me as an investor and the I will also earn for myself. So if my expected rate of return is, let's suppose in this case 12%, but in the next let's suppose that past 5 years it is 15%, but in the next 5 years it will be 10%, right? So I am concerned about the future. Whatever happened in the past I have invested in the business or not doesn't matter, but in the future, if I will keep my funds invested in the company will earn at the rate of 10%, whereas if I myself invest in a second best alternative, I can generate the return of 12%. That is my expectation, right? So अगर मैं खुद 12% कमा सकता हूं, कंपनी से 10% कमाएगी, what should be the optimum dividend payout ratio? कंपनी को क्या funds should be kept with the company or funds should be provided to the investor? The answer is that they should be provided to the investor, right? So the optimum payout ratio will be 100%. Optimum retention ratio will be 0%. That is the next part. If extra return is 12%, ROI given as the company is 15% in the past 5 years. So question confuses you with the past years and future years. We are not concerned about past, whatever return is paid. We are now concerned about what we can earn in the future. If we keep the funds in business, we can generate 10%. If we keep our funds in the outside on our own, what is that? That is our expectation. And that logic we have discussed in detail in the very first theory class. If you are not able to recall, just go in the starting of that first theory class we have discussed. Next, interest coverage ratio is also called as cash coverage ratio. Not bearing ratio, not interest earned coverage ratio. It is called cash coverage ratio. The 7% coupon rate tax-free bond face value of 2000 maturing in 2035, trading at 1250 in the stock market will be the current yield on the bond. How to calculate the current yield? The first year's return. How to calculate the first year return? It will be 7% on 70 rupees divided by 70 rupees divided by 1250 will be 5.6% approximately. Let's go ahead. Where would the claim of workman rank in the liquidation? The answer is first, second is pari passu with the secured creditors after the cost of liquidations, after the dues of secured creditors, second after the cost of liquidation. No, it is B, pari passu. Pari passu means equivalently with the secured creditors after the cost of liquidations, right? But it is 24 months of your last 24 months due. Then a debenture issued at for 100 but raised 95, redeemable in 10 years at 10% premium. Coupon rate is 15%. What is the pre-tax cost to the company, right? Now in this situation, this is a redeemable debenture, right? So we have discussed in the last classes maybe the formula for this. How to calculate this in this case? You have to consider, because we have raised 95, right? So how much is the interest or dividend that we need to pay? 15 rupees, right? Tax rate is not there, so it is fine. Plus, what is the redemption value? 110 minus how much is the issue price? 95. What is the life of the debenture? 10. All divided by 110 plus 95 divided by 2. Redemption value plus issue price divided by 2 multiplied by 100. So hopefully the answer that you will get will be 17.56 or whatsoever answer that you will get. If the interest rate will be there, then you will reduce. The second question is based on that. Issued at 95, redeemable 10%, coupon rate is 15%. What is the post-tax cost of debt to the company? If the, now there is a missing, if the tax rate is, let's suppose 30%, right? So in this situation, how to get this? Again, only the change will be here 15 into 1 minus tax. That's it. Right? Other than that, there is no change will be there. Other than this, there will be no change. Going ahead, face value of the preference share is 100 issued at 95 divided by 12. What is the cost of preference share to a company? Obviously 12 rupees divided by 95 rupees, 12.63. This is most important question in exam, asked to many members. Certificate for recognition or registration of registered value in which form? The answer is C. A is for registration of individuals, B is for registration of firms, C is the certificate, D is for RVO registration, E is that certificate. If a company wants to issue partly paid shares for a sector which is government sector to overseas investor whose permission is required, defense etc., for that type of, the answer is central government permission is required. For small permissions, FI, BP and FI, FP is there, but for these defense and all sector investments, FDI investments, central government permission is required. In ESOP, at the time of vesting of a listed company share, which value is to be considered in the case of listed company? On the date of exercise is a holiday. If this is a listed company, but on the date of exercise there is a holiday, right? So what rate we should take? Obviously the closing price of the last traded activity. But if the listed company is there, the next question 31. If the listed company is there, but on the same day, on the trading day, you have to calculate the value, then it will be the average of opening and closing prices on that day. And if there is an unlisted company, then the value given by the category 1 merchant banker. That is the next part. Next, difference between GDP and NDP, depreciation, amount of depreciation. Next, twin deficit means fiscal and current account deficit. Twin deficit means fiscal as well as current account deficit. Use of financial statement by external users. Basic use of the financial statement is the external users. The mathematical estimation of the risk involved in life insurance policy is based on which law? The answer is law of probability. That what can happen. No law of gravity at least, right? The first step in the Monte Carlo simulation process is to set up the probability distribution. Maximum members have asked this question in the exam. Set up the probability distributions, then set up the cumulative probability distributions, then create the ranges, then generate random numbers, and then first step is to assign the random numbers to that particular ranges, right? 38. What is the first step of NPV calculation? Is the future value of cash flow calculations. Control premium may vary on 51%, 75%, 100%. The answer is no, because on 51% you will get the control. You can take the decisions. So generally that is not there. But if you want the absolute control, or there is some regulations on 75% that require to be passed, then we can say that on 51 and 75 they might change. But then the 100%, that is not, then the 100% का उसका कोई relevance नहीं रह जाता. अगर आप बोलेंगे सर 51 हो तो सकता है, but then what about 100%? Then 75 and 100 will have no impact, because generally 99% of the decisions at least can be passed on 51% or 75%. Which one is not considered as Burkus method? Market size is not considered. Even this is covered in one of the case studies. And insurance uses balance scorecard method. This is again a very important question. As strategic management tool, the main purpose of this is to measure performance. The balance scorecard method is used to measure the performance. Which of the following method is not suitable for valuation of the small and medium scale enterprises? Replacement cost method is not suitable. Discounted cash flow method is suitable. Book value method, or none of the replacement cost method is not suitable. The criteria of investment in plant and machinery equipment and annual turnover of medium scale enterprises less than 50 crores and less than 250 crores for with respect to annual turnover, so equipment investment and annual turnover. What is not qualify as the asset or quality as a quality of asset? Number one is monetary assets. Non-monetary asset must have physical substance. That is not required. Default risk is there, but must have physical. Intangible assets are always there, because they are not asking you the quality of a tangible asset, right? They are asking you the normal answer as what is the quality of this asset, right? So these were the 44 questions at least, right? So then please revise these questions so that if any of them will be there in the exam, you will be able to answer it. The next videos in the series, this was the first. Next videos of recent exam questions in this particular series will be very soon, so wait for them. Please revise these questions. Test will be announced soon. Thank you so much.